Okay, shall we? I want to welcome you once again for today's class. Uh, I'm going to be introducing HTML, the language that is used to design all websites, even that very complex website that you see out there, like Facebook. It is designed using HTML. We are going to be looking at how you can see whether a website is designed using HTML. Yes, today's presenter is me, Alan. We shall just dive direct into it. This is an introductory lesson. It will help both beginners and people who have heard of HTML or done some HTML. So don't feel like it's going to bore you if you have done some HTML. You're going to find some very interesting things here. And if you haven't, if you have never designed any website, if you have never done any HTML, this is going to be very easy for you to understand. Okay, so what is HTML? HTML is a language, just like any other language. English, Luganda, Ruchiga, just like any other language out there. HTML is also a language. So any language has speakers, and when you speak, there is someone who listens and then understands the language. So the HTML language is spoken by web pages or whatever you see when you're looking at a website, and then it's understood by the web browser, for example, Mozilla, Firefox, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Opera. And after this web browser has understood the HTML language, it interprets it and then communicates it back to the user. That's you. For example, if the web page is telling the web browser to display a paragraph, the web browser understands that this is a paragraph that I need to display, and then it displays it in form of a paragraph to you, the person who is viewing the web page. Yeah. So the hypertext markup language, that's the full for HTML, is used for serving web pages. The HTML language is made up of web components. These components are what is used to display content on a web page. For example, the paragraph tag is a component. The table tags, we shall be looking at all those, they are all components. So if you want to draw a table, you use the table component or the table tag. If you want to display a heading, you use the heading tag. So we shall be looking at those ones. Every component or tag has attributes, or you can call them characteristics. These could be things like the color of the attribute of the attribute. Sorry, the color of the component. This could be the height. This could be the width. So those are attributes or characteristics of the component that we shall be looking at. So a collection of components makes up a web page, and like we had discussed earlier, the web page is displayed by a web browser. So like I had earlier hinted, every cool website that you see out there, the small ones, the big ones, they are all using HTML. I will show you how to, those of you who don't know how to view the HTML that the website is using to display whatever content you're seeing. I will show you how you can inspect and see what HTML, what components, what attributes are being used to display the specific web page that you're looking at. Okay. Okay. Let's look at the HTML page structure. So this is entirely coding. This, you don't see this on your web browser. You don't see this on your web browser. This is what we shall be writing. This is the code that is run to display a web page. Yeah. So every file, every page that you see is a file. Yeah. And every file has such a structure. So it's this structure that a web browser reads and then understands and then knows how to display to the user so that they can see the web page that you see. So we have line numbers here. I will just describe line by line. We have the first line number 1. It's doc type HTML. So this one instructs the browser that this is an HTML element. Sorry, this is an HTML file. In whichever file you have saved this code, it instructs the browser that this is an HTML5 file, and you should read it as if you're reading HTML because it's HTML. Yeah. So then line number 2, the HTML tag. So whatever you see in these angle brackets is a tag. Tags are enclosed in angle brackets. So the HTML tag is the one that holds the whole page or the whole file of your HTML page. The head tag. The head tag is what holds whatever you're going to see in the browser tabs. Yeah, we shall be looking at those in detail. Then the body tag from line 6 to line 11. You can see for it plus the head and title, actually even plus the HTML, they have opening tags and then closing tags. So these ones are used to enclose the content. So yeah, so when you look at line number 2, from line number 2 to line number 12, that's the HTML tag. It opens from line number 2 and then closes at line number 12. You can see the difference between the opening tag and the closing tag. The opening tag doesn't have a slash, and then the closing tag has a slash just before the HTML tag word. Yeah. So the body is what contains whatever you're going to show to the user, what appears on the page when the user is browsing your website. Everything has to be put in the body tag. Then on line number 7 is a comment. This is how we write comment. The opening square bracket. Yeah. No, angle bracket. Yeah. Opening angle bracket and exclamation mark. 2 hyphens or dashes. And then you write your comment and then close it with 2 dashes, and then you close the angle bracket. Yeah. So the use of a comment is just to, if you're writing something that you think that any other person looking at your code might not understand, you use a comment. So when the web browser is reading your page or your file, it ignores the comment. It doesn't display it because it's just a comment for other people to understand your code. Then we have tags like the heading tag, H1. Headings, we have H1 up to H6. depending on the size of the heading, H1 being bigger and H6 being smaller. Yeah. So inside the tag, you can see on line number 8, you can see the color attribute. So it's like a characteristic of this heading tag or the heading. Yeah, we say the color is equal to blue, and then after that you see my first website. This is the content now that is being shown to the user. Don't mind the color coding that I've used that I've used in the file. It's just for clarity. Yeah. You might be saying, but he's saying this is color blue, but I'm seeing the word is in green. No, that's just color coding for readability purposes. Yeah. Yeah. So basically that's the structure of an HTML page. So the web browser will read this and then put this in the browser tab, line number for the title, and then display whatever is between the opening body tag from line 6 to line 11. So you will see a heading with the word my first website. So whatever is between the tag is what is displayed in your browser. Yeah. And then the paragraph, it will show hello there, this looks cool in a paragraph form. We shall be looking at how the rendered page looks like. Okay, then we look at the HTML page sections. So I talked about the head section, that's from line 3 to line 5, and then the body section from line 6 to line 11. So the heading of your web page, this is what lives in the browser tab. Like if you have if you know what a browser tab means. If you don't, I'll just show you later what it means in the live coding example. Yeah. So the head tag has the title. You can include external cascading style sheets or any other JavaScript. We shall be looking at these in detail. You can include other meta tags. Okay, and the body tag, what you see on the web page as you're browsing through a website. Everything lives in the body tag. Yeah. So this is where you find most of other HTML tags, like the heading tags, the paragraph, the divs, and everything. Okay, so I'll just explain what an HTML tag is. Basically, an HTML tag is a piece that holds pieces of content. It's like a component that holds the content that you want to display. And in this example, I'll just explain the paragraph tag. If you have a paragraph that you want to display on a web page, you need a tag. Yeah, you need an HTML tag. And in this case, for paragraphs, we use the P tag here. The P tag that's the one that is used to display a paragraph. So we have the opening tag here on the left, and then inside the opening tag. So one thing that you need to note is that every attribute that you want to include in a tag has to be inside the opening tag. Yeah. You can see P opens here with the angle bracket and then closes here with the closing angle bracket. So that's the opening tag. Then the closing tag is at the end. And remember, closing tags always have slashes before, /slashes before the tag name. Yeah. Okay. So in the opening tag, we have the style attribute or characteristic. And then this is how we write. We say style equals, then open full quotes. And then inside the quotes, you you write the attribute value. So for example, here we want to style this paragraph and give it a margin on the left of 10 pixels. We shall look at all this in details when we are looking at CSS. So what you see in the style attribute here is what they call CSS, cascading style sheets. CSS is also some sort of language that is used to style things on a web page, yeah, for styling HTML tags or HTML elements, yeah, can be used for styling any element. Like for example, in this example, we are giving the paragraph, this paragraph, we are giving it to a margin on the left of 10 pixels. Yeah, and whatever appears between the opening tag and the closing tag is what is being shown. So this word, I am a paragraph, is the content. Yeah, that will be displayed but formatted as a paragraph because it appears between the paragraph tag. If we had an H1 here or H2 as a heading tag, opening and closing, this word a paragraph would appear as a heading, yeah? But right now, because you have a paragraph tag, it will appear as a paragraph. Okay, we have some examples of tags. We have single tags. So there are tags which don't need closing tags. We shall be looking at them, and those which need closing tags. So every tag that encloses other tags inside or has content between it needs an opening and closing tag. But for some tags, they actually have their content inside the tag as attributes and values or attribute values. So we shall look at tags like the image tag. The tag used for including images on a web page. They don't need opening and closing tags. They only need an opening tag because it just includes an image as the source. We shall be looking at them in details. It doesn't need a closing tag. Okay. Yes, Carlos, I saw your hand is up. I think you have a quick question.
Sorry for taking us. I just wanted to go back to you spoke about single tags and double tags, and that there are some that require closed tags and others. Could you go back to explain that a bit more? I missed that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Carlos, thank you for that. Carlos wants to know about single tags and double tags. So in my examples down here, I have single tags. A single tag is a tag that has only the opening tag and doesn't need a closing tag. Why? Because it doesn't have content in between that is going to be in between the opening and the closing tag. Yeah. I gave an example of an image tag, and the image tag, as we shall look at it, I think in this slide, it doesn't need to place the image between the tags. It actually places the image in an attribute called source, as we shall look at it. Yeah. So it really doesn't need the closing tag. And double tags are those tags, for example, the body tag, which is going to have other tags inside it. So it will need an opening and then closing tag. And then tags like the anchor tag, the A that you see here, also will need a closing tag because it has the content inside the tag. I don't know if I answered your question, Carlos.
Absolutely did. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, we shall go to the next slide. We shall look at the HTML tag attributes, what we can call characteristics. Yeah. It could be a group of characteristics or just one characteristic that appears in the tag attribute. So the types, some of the types, we have links for taking you to the next web page or taking you to another website. We have attributes that help you include images in a tag or videos or add other files like the styles, the CSS, and everything. So in this example, we shall use the anchor tag. It is used for creating links on a website, where you see sometimes on most websites, it usually appears as blue and clickable. So when you click it, it takes you to the next page, or it takes you to another website. So in this case, we are looking at an anchor tag that helps us to leave the website that we are currently on and then go to the Google website. So what you do, you open your tag, and then you write the attribute href. Href is the hyperlink reference that references where you're supposed to go. Yeah, and then you give it a value of where you're supposed to be going. So the value here will be https www.google.com, and then there is another attribute called target. So target is an attribute that tells you whether to open it in the current tab that you're at or open it in a new tab. So the target blank, yeah. So the href shows you where you want to go when you click this, and then the target is whether to open in the current tab or in a new tab. Then the go to Google is now what you see, yeah, when it is being displayed on when the browser reads this line, it displays this go to Google, and then when you click it, it will take you to Google. In the above example, href and target attributes of the anchor tag that are used to create links with values, the google.com and then the blank respectively. So what you see in this pink, I think it's pink color is the attribute, and then the blue is the attribute value, yeah, and then the orange is the tag. Okay. Let's look at some of the best practices in HTML. Use lowercase letters for tag names and attributes. So HTML is case insensitive. So what that means is whether you write your tags in uppercase or capital letters or lowercase or small letters, the browser will read and understand, yeah? But for best practices and for other people to understand your work and your work to look neat, it is advised that you use lowercase letters for writing HTML, be it tags, be it attributes or attribute values, yeah? But whatever you want to show or whatever appears in between an opening tag and closing tag, you need to write it the way you want it to be displayed. So the casing is just for writing the attribute, the tag, and then the attribute value. Then use double quotes for attribute values, just like in this example. Indent, enclosed or inner tags. So indent is just putting a tab, or a tab is usually like 7 spaces or 4 spaces in some cases. So if you have a div is like a section. It's an HTML tag that describes a section. If you have a div and then you have a span, these are both HTML tags. So if you have a tag inside another tag, it's good to leave a space to show that this tag is actually inside this tag. Yeah. Okay. put your tags on a new line. Actually, you can actually write HTML on one line and then it works very well because the browser will read and understand. But I mean, I don't think it will be readable to you either. So it's good to put a tag on one line and then another tag on another line to keep your code neat and readable. Use comments to explain not obvious code or cases. Yeah, so if you're writing like some code that needs explaining that someone looking at your code won't understand obviously, it's good to use a comment to tell them that this is what I'm actually doing. Yeah, just like we discussed earlier, comments are not rendered by the browser. They are just for helping people understand the code. Split long code or pages into multiple files. Yeah, sometimes you might need to write a page that is very huge and has a lot of content. Yeah, and then you find that your page is like 5,000 lines. Yeah, so it might be very hard for reading. So it's advised to separate that code and put it in different files and just include those files to have the page. Okay. For more reading, this is the link. It has everything detailed. I know most of you or some of you have looked at it. W3 Schools is a great website that has resources well explained that will help you better your HTML skills. So please do visit that link and then learn. Okay. We shall be using W3 Schools in most of the examples because it has really amazing examples, very easy to understand. So please note that. Here I give a few more attributes and tags. So the table tag, if you want to create a table, the table tag will appear like this. It has an opening table tag and then a closing table tag. Then inside the table tag, okay, I see someone's hand is up. So inside I'll get back to you later. Inside the table tag, there is a TR, which means table row. So you can see the opening table tag, the table row, and then the closing table row. And then inside it, there is a TH, which means table head. And then inside the table head, you see column 1, column 2. So these are just examples of how to create a table. We shall be looking at them in live session. Then list, you have a UL, that stands for unordered list. Then it encapsulates the list items, like list item 1, list item 2, things like that. And more tags, you have the paragraph tag, the div or section tag, the span, the image. All right. We are going to look at some live session. I hope everyone was able to install Notepad++. So we are going to look at our first website. I hope everyone is ready. Okay, so I just have a few steps here about how we are going to create our folders and everything, just to be organized. So I created a folder called code on my hard disk. So what I did, let me look for Notepad++. Actually, what I did is I went to my C folder, and then I created a folder called code, and then the code folder, I created a subfolder called Pearlbrains, and then in this Pearlbrains folder is where my website is going to be. Yeah. So you can also create any folder, and then we shall store our files there. So I'll just open Notepad++. Okay, I'm going to share my Notepad++ screen. So Notepad++ is a text editor. Actually, those of you who didn't install, who couldn't install it, there is a version, a basic version of Notepad that comes on your laptop or computer that has Notepad. You can use it as Notepad++, but Notepad++ is a little bit better. Okay, so I'll just share my Notepad++. So there are other text editors that I'll be introducing in the near future. So, but for now, we shall be using Notepad++. Okay, can everyone see my Notepad++? I had in the presentation, create coding folder on your hard disk, easy code, which I already created. Then in Notepad++, click File, select Open Folder as Workspace. So we want to add the code file that we created as a workspace, so that our website is going to have many files, so that our files live in that space. So we click File and then Open Folder as Workspace. We look for the folder that we created. Mine was code, Pearlbrains. Then I open it. So my project or website is going to be in here. Yeah. So I'll add file, new. Let me just choose this one that I'd already created. But you go to file and then you click new, and then a new file is created here. And then this is where you're going in this part of your file. That is where you're going to write your HTML. Yeah. So I will just first save this file inside the Pearlbrains folder. So what I will do is File, then right click, Save as. Yes, save as. Then make sure you're in that folder that you opened. If you're not there, please open the folder and then make sure you're there. Yeah, I'm in Pearlbrains now. So the name of the file is going to be index. Index is usually like index.html. Index is like the entry file. Yeah. So the good thing with naming your entry file or your homepage index is even if you run the folder where it is in your browser, it will detect it automatically. So it's usually used for the entry file, like the home page, where someone lands when they open the website. So the .html extension means that this file is an HTML file. That's also one indication that the browser needs to read it as HTML. And then we just save, and the name is here, index.html. So we write our first tag with doc type HTML. We need an exclamation mark here. Doc type HTML. Okay. So what we do next, we define the HTML tag, because all web pages are supposed to be in between the HTML tag. We open the tag, and then just not to get confused, we close the tag, because for these double tags, you need to open and then close. So whatever content we are going to write is going to be in between the HTML tag. And like I earlier mentioned, if you have tags inside another tag, it's good to write them on a new line. So to do that, we need to move this HTML tag on a new line, and then again on a new line, so that you create space in between for the other tag. So we need the head tag and then the body tag. So we have the head, and then make sure you close it. Close the head tag. Since we are also going to have content inside the head, we need to put it on a new line. So inside the head, we can have the title tag. Close it. So we shall call this the home page. So whatever you want to call it appears between the tags. We can write home page. Okay, and after the head tag, we have the body tag. Close it. Okay, inside the body tag, this is where we are going to place everything that we need to see on our website. We can have the heading, H1, the biggest heading. Close it. Then inside the tag, you write the content that you need to be displayed in the heading. Oh, this is a cool heading. Ooh. Okay. Okay, then after the heading, we can put a paragraph. Close it, because it has content in between. This is my first paragraph. I am very sleepy. Yeah. Okay, so this is just a simple website, if I may say. And don't forget to save. You can save by going to this file, save, or just hit Control S on your keyboard. Yeah, because if you don't save, even if you load your page, nothing will happen because it doesn't have the update. Yeah, so save. Okay, so it's time to run our website. Yeah. Okay, so when you look here at our folder, which is the website, and you click this plus, you can see our file, index.html file, is in our website folder. So if you right click and go to run by system, we are going now to load our page in the browser. Yeah, when you click, it opens. Let me just share my screen and then you see what we have here. Okay, share. There. Okay, I hope you can see my first website. Oh, I can see some typo here. This is a call heading. Okay, yeah, but our first website is up. However much it looks to be very basic, but we have successfully written our first website. Yeah, you can see our heading. It is big and bold. This is a cool heading. We shall fix this typo later. This is my first paragraph. I am very excited to be learning HTML. Yeah. Okay. So when we go back to our code in Notepad++, let me see. I don't know whether it's still available, but let me just share it again. Here we are back. We need to correct this. This is a cool. So you correct and then you save. Just save from here, and then we come back to our web browser because the file is already open in the web browser. So I will just share the web browser. Yeah. So we come back here and then we reload. You see, this is the core heading. So to reflect the change that we just made, we hit the refresh and boom, it has been corrected. This is a cool heading, isn't it? Yeah. So I talked about explaining what we put in the head tag. Where does it appear? So one of them is when you look at this. This is a tab on the browser. So our title appears here. Yeah. As you can see, our title was homepage, and so whatever you want to appear here, you put it in the title. And the other tags that I talked about, like meta tags and everything, they will appear inside, but for them, they are not to be displayed. Yeah, like I told you, I explained earlier, they are for indexing and everything. We shall also look at how you can use meta tags to share your website on social media like Facebook. Everything will live in the head. Yeah, so what you see here is the title, and what you see here is what is between the body tag. If we can go back to our Notepad++, you can see, okay, yeah. So you can see what is in the head tag. This one is the title, and the name is homepage. And what is in the body is heading 1, and then the paragraph. Yeah. So basically, that's a simple page. I would like to talk. I would like to talk about attributes briefly. So I'll just look at one attribute, which is the color attribute. Okay, so the way the style tag works is you write a style, and then inside you write the style name, and then the value separated by full colon. And then we save. We come back to our browser. You just share this. And then we reload, and boom, here is our color. Yeah, the color is blue. If we go back to our code, you can see the color is blue. We could put red. Let me just first share this. We could just rename the color from blue to red, and then save, and then go back to our browser, and then reload, and the color is red. Yeah. So that is an example of how an attribute can be used to style the different elements in our web browser. Okay. Does anyone have any question, or is anyone confused? Have I confused anyone?
My question is,
yes.
If at all I see a certain color somewhere, for example, I visit some website, or I'm using a certain application, and I see a certain color, but I don't know its name. How
Okay.
do I also get to use it?
Interesting question. Yes, thank you for that question. Earlier, I talked about you visiting a website and then having to see what code they are using and everything. Yeah. So this is where Zinda's question helps us. So I'll give an example of a website. Like let me just go to Google. Okay. Where should I go to? Okay, let me just go to any website. Google.com. Let me go to Rocket Health. Okay. RocketHealth.shop. So you visit the website, and let me just share the screen. Okay, rocket shot. Where is it? I think I'm already sharing the screen. Okay, rocket shot, and then you want to see which code they use, yeah? So just right click anywhere. You will see inspect element or view page source. If you click view page source, you will see the whole source code or the HTML that was used to create the web page. So if we click, it will open in a new tab, and then you can see everything. You see the doc type, the HTML, the head, the meta tags, everything that we are talking about. The link, all the code, the body, the watch, everything, you see it there, yeah? But if you want to see a specific section, yeah? For example, I want to see this, how did they create this search, the input, search input, yeah? So I right click here, and then I click on inspect element. So when I click on inspect element, it will open the tab on the right, yeah? And on that tab, we have the code, yeah? The code, and whatever you see highlighted in here is what you inspected, yeah? As you can see on the left, when I hover over it, it shows you that this is the input. So you can see the code is wrapped inside a div with a class, and then the input and everything, yeah? And down here are the styles, the CSS. We shall be looking at them later. And here is the box model, which we shall also look at when we start CSS or styling the HTML components that we have created. So Zindaz's question comes into play. This is where it comes into play. So when you click input, you can just come here and say they are using the color which is having this code. So you can just copy this color and then you paste it into HTML. Then the border color which is here, and then you just post it there. You just copy it and then post it there. Yeah. So if we want to see the color of, let me just inspect. Okay, we have an icon here. We have a class. Okay, so we come here, we look at the different CSS, and then when we look at this div, I'm just trying to look for the color of this. Yeah, so the color is here. So it's usually in the styles. So you just look at the styles and then you just copy that. So if we could copy this, Control C, or just right click and copy, and then we go back to our code, and then I'm just going to share this, and then our color, we just put the color code, yeah, hash the code name, and then we save, and we come back to our browser, and just share this quick, yeah, and then we reload, yeah. You can see the color has changed to the orange that we copied from the other side. Okay, who else? Zinda Z.
Yes. So you have answered my question, but now I have gotten a very big problem.
Okay.
I'm seeing this inspector. It is having so many things.
Yes.
And plus, I have not really understood the way I've gotten to the color.
Okay.
You have selected. There's a certain section up there, and then there's a certain section down here that you are closing through. So I haven't gotten it very clearly.
Okay. Okay. So when you know the elements, the way elements appear there encapsulated. Yeah. So an element appears inside an element. So let me just share the browser screen quick, and then I'll just show you what. Okay, actually it's here. What exactly I'm talking about. So when you look at a section like this delivery section, yeah. So you might find the delivery section is enclosed in a div. Actually, let me use the real example. Yeah. Let me just. I can just click here and inspect. So when I clicked there and inspected, you saw I clicked on delivery, yeah? But delivery is a sibling of div, which is here, this div here. So when you look at the code, div and span are at the same level, so they are siblings, yeah? But when you look at the wrapping div, this one here is they are inside the wrapping div is covering them, is like their parent. So it's like parent and children, yeah. So you could apply a color here, and then the color will be inherited by every child. So there is inheritance when an element or tag appears inside another tag. Unless you specify what the child's attributes are or are to be, it will inherit whatever the parent attributes are. So for example, if you could look on your left here, delivery, we deliver to your home office. Oh, if I hover in the code here on the right, if I hover on the div, you can see it is covering both this the delivery and then we deliver to your home. So if I put a color in this div here of a class box wrapper, if I say color is equal to red, and these children don't have their own color, they will inherit the red color. So if you inspect something like this, yeah, like this, and then you don't find its color, look at the parent. It could be inheriting an attribute from the parent. Yeah. So let me see for this example. But actually, in this example, for it just has the color. But in some cases, you might find it is showing orange, but when you look at its CSS or the styles and the attributes, it doesn't have the color. Yeah. So you might need to look at the parent or the parent's parent, things like that in that hierarchy. And then another thing is in our example, we added the style, the color, the color in the style directly in the tag. Like we said, color is equal to, style color is equal to this. Yeah. So in the next lessons, we shall see the different ways in which you can include styles or attributes without including them directly. Yeah. So for example, in this example, they used a class. You could use a class, and then for example, this class called icon rocket, and then in your CSS file that we are going to look at, you include a color. For example, you said dot icon rocket, then you say color is equal to this. So in that way, you don't need to include it in the tag itself. You just include the tag, and the tag will fetch whatever we put here. So for example, if I change this to some readable color, let me see, could I put like green? Green. You can see everything is changing to green. If I put gray, you can see everything here is changing into gray. Yeah. So we shall look at that, how you can just add classes, and then you use the class to inject whatever attributes or styles that you're including in the code. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you have answered the question that maybe this entire thing of inspector, because I see it's having a lot of questions about it. Okay,
Okay.
I'm having a lot of questions about it.
Please, you can ask.
Maybe okay, like now you are I don't know the way you are reaching that other file, this other file down here that you are
Okay.
you're
Okay. So,
scrolling this other where you identify the color.
oh, this file here. So when you
Yeah.
inspect this part here shows your style sheet. So when you see this, you can see there is a file called styles.css. Yeah. So when I hover over it, you can see it's at rocketf.shop stroke WP themes what then style.css. And if we open this file, yeah, you can see the CSS that was written there. Actually, we could even just open it in a new tab. Yeah. Let me see. Copy location. Let me see. So when I go to a new tab and then, okay, yes, the file is there. It's styles.css. You can see it is here. So the way it is included is if you want to see how styles.css is included, you just say view page source. So it brings the source of everything, the source code, the HTML code. And we do find, we look for styles, it's style.css, style.css. Okay, you see, where is it? Style.css. Okay, so style.css is, it's here. You see, it's in the head tag, and then this is just an example of how you can include an external CSS file for styling your tags for your web page. So we shall be looking at these in details in the next chapters that we are going to cover. Okay, yeah. Okay. As we wait for any other question, there is this W3 schools that I was talking about. You can just Google, and then there is the HTML tutorial here. So you would just go there, and then you look through all this, the home, introduction, you look at the basics. There are very pretty examples here that can really help you understand everything. And you could go to the try it yourself. My first heading, you could just say my second save, or you could just run it without saving. Yeah, you just try something, you change it here, and then you run it, and then it will show on the right. So there are very cool examples to cover HTML lists, tables, blocks, buttons, colors, everything that we are talking about, you will find it here. Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any other question? Yeah.
Do we have any assignments, like in particular?
For now, it will be for you to go and check out W3 schools, and then maybe after the second session, we shall have some sort of assignment. Yeah, but for now, the assignment that I can give is you should think of a project that you'd want to implement as a web app or a website. Yeah, think of any project, however big it is. Don't worry. Think outside the box. Don't worry about your capacity to do it. Just think of it, and then just create a folder for that. And then as we do this, we shall be assisting you and working together on that project. so that by the end of this, at least you have learned practical skills in building something. Yeah, so you should think of a project that you want to implement as a website.